Hi, Andrea. Could you introduce yourself and tell us all about the frequencies?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on. So I work with frequency and sound in the form of a voice analysis device and bioresonance device and with crystal singing bowls. So I've been involved in this field in a therapeutic sense really for the last 10 years. So I started my first sound healing training back in 2016, and it's just developed and grown and deepened, and now I'm very deep in the frequency world and frequency medicine world. As I was just saying to you, a lot of my work is very much around this signal therapy. So the sound and light signals that are coming in to our system and how we shore up our vibrational field. So in effect, we've become the most stable frequency in our environments, which tends to then mean that we can entrain our environments as opposed to the other way around. So a lot of my work is around that. It's kind of bringing people back to their natural rhythm, really, through sound and frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a really big fan of sound healing for many years now and doing different sound baths and gong baths. And I find that when you tune into your heart center as well during that, it kind of enhances the feeling. And what would you say some of the main benefits are kind of afterwards, after the coming days following the sessions?
With sound therapy. So I work as I've kind of developed in the information knowledge, experience, I guess, of working with sound, is that the consistency and stability of these sounds, vibrations, frequencies that come into our system is really the key thing. So as um, as you probably know, with sound, we entrain to the most dominant frequency that's around us. So going for a sound bath, beautiful experience, incredible. You come out, you feel floaty, you feel like you've lost your edges, you feel like you've connected to something that's much bigger, than just our physical field. So it can really help, to balance the nervous system, to bring deep peace, to induce really meditative states and connected sense of ourselves, really. So I think we come out of these experiences having had like a really deep experience of ourself actually through sound. So we kind of put ourselves in this frequency architecture, that's created from the gongs or the bowls or, whichever didgeridoo, whatever sound drum. Um, so yeah, it's as I've kind of developed and worked, like I said, with sound and frequency, you start to realize that actually, we're in kind of a frequency war going on at the minute, as many people probably don't realize. So the more that we can access these beautiful, stable, balanced harmonics, the better, and the easier it is for our system to actually find its own homeostasis. So yeah, there's so many benefits really to listen to coherent sound. Really, yeah. And everyone's so individual, but everyone hears sound differently. So, what would affect one person wouldn't necessarily be the same as how it would affect the other person. But the main real principle, really, when it comes to sound, I wouldn't say healing, but I would say sound therapy, um, is that we offer people these really stable architectures of frequency. So, in effect, the body can do what it does naturally, which is bring itself to stability and homeostasis. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, deep states of peace come from these environments. Yeah.
back into balance completely. Yeah.
Yeah, and coherence really. I think that's like a really big part of what we're all trying to achieve, in mind, body, spirit, in these all these different levels, is this coherent, unified field, that we inhabit. So to be able to kind of there's so many people now doing that as well, which is incredible. And the power of sound, and like we were just saying before, sound effects matter. It's a scientific thing. It's not something that can be questioned. We've seen it in so many different ways. So, the fact that we're mostly water, the fact that we are electromagnetic beings, that sound and light is really what we're made of. We're starting to deal with fundamentals and really foundational principles of who we are, like as beings in the world, So yeah,
Yeah. So in terms of like raising your vibration, because I've been doing Hemi Sync and Robert Monroe and that institute,
yeah,
sound, so it's different sounds in each ear.
The binaural
So
beats, yeah.
moving towards kind of expanded consciousness and astral travel. Is your therapy something that can help you as you work towards raising your vibration to astral travel?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a really deep grounded sense that is needed if we're going up into those levels. So a lot of the work that I did with the Power of Three, there's quite a lot of people maybe that would have experienced that, which was very much about clearing, the lower energy centers of the body. I mean, we talk about seven, but there's many of them. So one of the key things I think when we're wanting to go up and to raise these vibrations, because as beings we're made of all vibrations. There's lower vibrations, higher vibrations, that kind of. So we're kind of moving in and out of that in a lot of ways. But one of the main things that I would say, is to really sort of ground that rooted sense of it's like an intention, so we're embodying these spiritual vibrations, into the physical form. So as long as we've got the root center and the earth star, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's lots of different ways of people explaining this, but that needs to be really solid, secure, cleared, moving up to the sacral, moving up to the solar plexus, so we can actually bring this information back in, and then we can actually embody that in the world, and we can actually see that as a physical manifestation, of that. And I've been involved in the say conscious communities, spiritual communities for a long time. And I think we see it a lot. There's a lot of sort of a need to sort of be up here, when actually I think the real need at the moment for a lot of us is to really ground in what we've been doing up there. Whether it's a medicine ceremony or whether it's a astral travel experience, or it's about embodying, grounding that into the life that we lead every day. That's the feeling for it. Yeah.
It's going with it. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Lee Harry's work and going into the heart center as well. And I'm obviously in the process of kind of getting out there a bit more. So I've got a combination of working on Zoom and going to festivals and that type of thing. So how can your vocal coaching help people who are wanting to, get up on stage and raise the vibration of the people around them?
Well, I think it all starts with us and our coherence. And whilst I work with crystal singing bowls and all these different other kind of modalities, one of the most powerful sound healing tools we've got is our voice. And to be fair, most of those things lead us back to our voice. And our voice is our frequency signature. So there's no one that has my voice or your voice. Or, we hold this frequency architecture that is ours. So, when our voice is clear and when we are understanding, the different nuances within that voice, then we can start really accessing deeper parts of the emotions. We can start accessing deeper parts of understanding ourselves, our output the way it is. So you probably speak to a friend of yours, or if you've got like a really close friend and they call you up and they say, "Hey, how you doing? All right?" And you're like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And they'll say, "No, you're not. What's going on?" My mum does it all the time, so you can hear in someone's voice, and there's so many, I guess, frequencies we don't hear, but we feel, because we feel sound very much so. So, and we sense sound as well. So, yeah, the voice analysis work that I do is super powerful because it literally taps into your specific frequency. So what the voice analysis work does is it scans your voice and it works out the frequencies that are low or high or needing some balancing out. And then what it does is it generates the balancing harmonics that give the body the nutrients, the sound nutrients that it needs to balance that out. So that transfers to physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, but essentially the voice analysis works with the emotional levels. So what happens is you get this beautiful 12-minute balanced harmonics track, plus you can listen to just there's a number of ways you can listen to it. And I work this with people over 21 days as well, which is what I was saying about this consistency, stability. So all evidence, what I quick is that one scan, but it's not going to give you any information that you can really do anything with. It's not until you start seeing patterns that are starting to show up and show up and show up that actually you start to understand the nuances of it. So what it does is it gives you a report. So it breaks down the emotional scale. It gives you the note. It gives you the emotions that are generally associated with that note. And then it will give you your specifics based on your voice analysis. So it'll give you the three emotions that are playing out, that are creating that note in your voice to be slightly out. So it's fascinating. It's like as far as I'm concerned, frequency is the medicine of the future, no question. There's nothing like it really to tap in so specifically in real time, to what's actually going on in your system. So that's why I'm all in on this voice analysis work and the bioresonance work as well. I think there's a huge amount that is going to come in the form of frequency clinics or, these different ways of people accessing, clear reads on their electromagnetic field. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much work to be done in different aspects. You need to focus on mind, body, spirit, and soul, and not just one
All of it.
area of you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the beauty, I think, of working with sound and frequency is that it really taps into exactly what that person needs at that moment in time. It's like when we go to the doctors, we have a blood test, we have to wait 3 days, and then, that's essentially just a snapshot of what your blood's doing. It's probably doing something different. And of course, there's markers in it and, all of those things. It's just an example. But this is what I mean about actually looking for these patterns that are starting to emerge, whether it's emotion, the bioresonance machine that I work with, it gives you a 550 readout of vitamins, minerals, heavy metals, parasites, bloods, your hormones, your chakra system, your meridians, so you can really start empowering yourself, making and I know myself, I've spent probably thousands on supplements over the years. And a lot of it's self-medicated because I don't really know. I kind of feel a little, maybe I do need some B vitamins or maybe I do need this, but when you start going into its minefield and you can spend a fortune. So I think gives you a really clear picture, of exactly what your specific system is doing, which is super valuable, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And if somebody wants to work with you, how would they go about it?
So mainly through my beacons page, the Frequency Revolution, all of the information is there, all the different programs. I run the 21-day groups, I run the 12-week groups, I run the 12-month groups, frequency mentorships and bioresonance resets, seasonal resets. And, we work with a lot of different modalities within it as well. So we'll bring gene keys into it, depending on the person. And this is the beauty of this work is that, it's led by the person's vibrational field. So, we do a 12-week process. And for everybody, that's going to look different because everybody's at a different point. So, yeah, I do one-to-one work with, over 7 days, but the minimum really I would work with someone who's over 7 days. So, but all the information is on that Frequency Revolution page. And that's like a link in my bio on my Instagram and my Facebook. Yeah.
Great. So I'll pop all the links below the video. Have you got any final thoughts for the viewers?
I would say, yeah, as we're going into this new Gregorian year and the end of the Yule tide, I would say just give yourself a bit of time really before you start motoring forward this year. Check in and just, yeah, silence is as important as the sound, So if you get a chance for a little bit of silence, just have a listen and see what your system is calling for, really. Yeah. And
Great.
we just go easy on we'll go easy on ourselves this year,
Self-care. Self-care is
Yeah.
definitely the self-care. So thanks a lot. Thanks.
So much.